We're tackling a different side to workers' compensation in this week's Know Your Rights. Catherine Stone from Barbas Law is here to break down what first responders are entitled to. Welcome back to the show, Catherine. And I feel like we were talking about first responders with the new legislation that was passed, and the PTSD.
We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, that first responders, which are your policemen, your firemen, and your correctional officers, they now are entitled to benefits under the workers' comp system for post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, without having to suffer a physical injury, which it wasn't the way before this most recent legislative change. But also with first responders, they get presumptions underneath the law that entitle them to workers' comp benefits. So you always have to prove that your injury is as a result of your accident. Well, your firefighters, your policemen, and your correctional officers, if they are diagnosed while working in their capacity with heart disease, high blood pressure, or tuberculosis, they are automatically presumed that that condition is related to their job because of the stress that they are under. And so it's real important that they understand that. It's also very important that if they are diagnosed with that by a primary care physician or a cardiologist or whatever specialist it may be, that they need to go ahead and report that as well too to their department. And in order for it to be compensable, they have to have lost time from work. So definitely if you've lost time from work for hypertension, heart disease, or tuberculosis, and you're in one of those categories, it's definitely best to, seek counsel, talk to an attorney about what your rights are. I'm not saying that it's a guarantee, because there are ways in which the employer and carriers can rebut that presumption if they find something in someone's medical history that pre-existed their date of employment. For instance, had a gentleman come in recently, and he was a younger person, but he was not too long on the force. And unfortunately, he had a prior history, and it was pretty significant for hypertension. And so it was going to be very hard to prove that his current hypertension, which really didn't appear unchanged in the medical records, was related to his job. But if there was no prior history, or there was an increase in the symptoms, increase in medication usage, all those types of things we look at and are able to tell you whether or not the presumption would apply to you as one of those categories. And we oftentimes refer to it as the heart and lung bill here in the state of Florida. Okay. So that's kind of the terminology we all use with regards to that particular statutory provision.
So it sounds like even if you were diagnosed with one of these things and you're still able to work as a first responder, you still need to make note of it, to have in a file just in case in the future. Am I understanding?
Yes, okay. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely something that you don't want to just take lightly, especially if you're getting treatment for it, been diagnosed with any of those conditions. You definitely, not only do you want to get the proper medical treatment that you need, but it's also would be to your benefit to go ahead and consult with an attorney and file a claim with whatever division you're with, so that you're in the system, so that if something does happen, there's no issue as to timely notice.
See, you don't want to take workers' compensation lightly, and again, that's why Catherine always says it's best to contact a lawyer. If you're interested in talking with Catherine or anyone on her team, if you have questions about Know Your Rights, well, just give them a call, 1-800-BARBAS-LAW, or go to barbaslaw.com/knowyourrights.